to our
you hear me now?
second CEO Social Connect with Metrolink
Second.
CEO
Stephanie Wiggins. Right here.
Joining her,
I'm Sharita Kaufeld, Director of Communications.
and
Henning Eichler, Market Research.
so we will be opening up for questions. I will start with one submitted by Gigi. Gigi asks, how close are we to doing a system-wide rollout of Wi-Fi? What is the progress?
Hi Gigi, thank you for your question. So excited about the ability to start bringing Wi-Fi to the Metrolink system. As you know, in November, we started our first pilot test ever on one of our train sets that operates throughout the system. And I was just in a meeting yesterday and saw a great update on the type of coverage we're getting and what we're learning from that test. We also will be testing with Sprint soon. And when we come back from the holidays on the new year, we will hold a reverse pitch and we'll invite folks from the industry to really help us understand what we need to do to bring Wi-Fi in a full system deployment. So stay tuned.
All right, our next question is, your CEO vision is create value and exceed expectations. What has been your favorite thing that you have accomplished so far as CEO?
Wow. Well, besides getting through my fright of being on Facebook Live, it's my first one, I really appreciate when I talk to writers and they share what Metrolink means to them. You know, it was really exciting as we celebrated our 27th anniversary to ask the writers to share their stories over the last 27 years. And to hear those stories, whether folks who've been with us from day one, folks who found Metrolink as a way to get that job that they wanted or that home that they wanted, it really makes me feel proud to work for Metrolink and know that we're creating value and exceeding expectations, because that says to me that we're more than just getting you from point A to point B. We're helping you have better quality of life, friends, family. It's amazing the relationships that have sprouted on Metrolink. And we know that it's also part of a healthier lifestyle and a healthier planet. So I'm really excited about creating value and exceeding expectations.
Wonderful. Jamie L asks, can we have security at all stations? I like feeling safe at my local Metrolink station.
Well, Jamie, I think safety is so important, and I know it's important for everyone to feel safe on our system. So our approach to safety is to really partner with our station cities. For most of our stations, there are security guards that are provided by our station cities, and then where we have a partnership with the Sheriff's Department, where they randomly ride the trains. But we will continue to work with the cities to make sure that your experience, both on board the train as well as while you're waiting for the train, is one that is safe and secure.
Wonderful. Gilda asks, what does the CEO think about having a service that is women-friendly?
Well, as the CEO, who is a woman, it must be friendly. I agree 100% with that. What does that mean? I was excited, and this was in the works before I became CEO, but I was excited in February as the CEO to help launch our new texting feature, which I believe is a security enhancement, especially for women. You know, when we're riding the train, we don't want to put ourselves in a situation where we can have a confrontation. So the ability now, using technology, that you can just text a live person, 24 hours a day while the trains are in service is wonderful. I love the fact that we have that texting feature. We also have conductors who regularly walk through the trains. We do have security presence both on board the trains and at stations. I think that's so important. As a woman as well, I think first, safety and security is of utmost importance. Cleanliness is next to godliness, and I think cleanliness is also a sense of safety. So I was happy that over the past few months we started a porter system where we have additional staff actually riding the trains to help ensure more timely cleanliness of our bathrooms. We have increased the amount of maintenance on our seats, and in fact, we're fortunate to have started rehabilitating some of our rail cars. So you'll see new upholstery, new seats, new amenities. I think also as a woman and being woman friendly, we all want to have a purpose in everything that we do and where we spend our time. And so I think it's important, particularly as women are Mother Earth, I think it's important that we also serve a purpose both in helping the environment. It's much better for the environment when you're taking the train versus driving alone. It's better for your health. You walk more when you take the train than when you drive alone. And of course, you know, we provide a system on the weekends where families can travel on Metrolink and explore all of Southern California. So I think all of those things help us be more women friendly.
Fantastic. Tony asked a question about preserving air quality. How can we limit emissions to preserve the air quality and reduce road traffic and emissions?
Well, we're well on our way to doing that, Tony. Last year alone, we had our highest ridership ever and almost 12 million riders on our system. Well, what did that mean for reducing emissions? Well, given that 85% of our riders have access to a car, that means that was 9.3 million car trips that were taken off the roads and the freeways last year. And given that the average trip length on our system is 36 miles one way, that's over 300 million vehicle miles traveled that were reduced. Now, what are we doing to accelerate a zero-emission future even more? Where we're in the process of converting our diesel fleet to what is known as Tier 4, or the cleanest diesel possible. What that means for emissions is it cuts down emissions between 64 to 85%. So we have 23 of our 60 locomotives today are out there on the system that are this Tier 4, the cleanest diesel available. And by this summer, in just 6 short months, we'll have 40 locomotives as Tier 4, totally converted. I also am committed to a zero emission future. How can we accelerate that? So we have a study that we've started to look at battery electric, hydrogen fuel cell. What are some other technologies that can be advanced so that we can ensure that our whole system is zero emission? So stay tuned.
Thank you for your question, Tony. Jimmy Barino has a very simple request. He wants to know what it'll take to have Metrolink provide service to Las Vegas.
Wow, viva Las Vegas. Wow. Well, you know, anything is possible. And in fact, you might have heard of a company called Virgin Trains, formerly Brightline. They have recently purchased the rights to have high-speed rail service from Las Vegas to Victorville. And then there are plans to get it from Victorville to potentially Palmdale. And of course, if they get to Palmdale, then the next leg is to connect to the Metrolink system. So it's not far-fetched, Jimmy, not at all. So stay tuned.
Elder J says, hello to all. I commute from the Victorville area using VVTA to San Bernardino. Recently, with the new schedule change to weekend schedules, I'm no longer able to meet my current connection. Will there be a schedule adjustment to accommodate people traveling to Victorville, from Victorville to San Bernardino with VVTA, Victor Valley Transit Authority?
I didn't catch his name. What's the name?
His name is Elder J.
Elder, thank you for the question. And I'm sorry that adjustment to the schedules actually had an impact that wasn't positive for you. I want you to know that we take seriously every time we make a schedule adjustment. Our focus is to really maximize the experience so it's easy to transfer from one system to another. We value the relationship we have with VVTA. In fact, there are more than 50 transit operators that we have the ability with your Metrolink ticket, that is, to transfer to for free. And so we will, rest assured, as we look to schedule adjustments every April and October, we will take another look to see what we can do to make that experience better for you. Just know that when we make these schedule adjustments, we're trying to time it better so that we reduce delays. Every once in a while there is a hiccup, so we'll take a look at that. Henning is our market research extraordinaire and helps us identify which connections need to be adjusted along with others in our service planning group. But be patient with us. We'll take a look, particularly with that Victorville connection to the downtown San Bernardino station.
On that same subject of reliability, Manuel asks, what is being done for trains to stick to schedule times? Many times coming to Union Station from Paris Valley, sometimes the train runs late and I need to be on time for work. How are we reducing issues with on-time performance?
Well, thank you, Manuel, and thank you for taking the Paris Valley line, one of our newest lines. One of the challenges we have, as you may know, is that the tracks on which we operate on are not always completely owned by us. We share those tracks with the private railroads. So one of the opportunities we have is we are meeting with the railroads, particularly Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad, and we will start negotiating a new, more modernized agreement, and we want to focus on getting a better, more reliable on-time performance. So part of our challenge is making sure, and working with our partner railroad, we work together to ensure that you get the best on-time performance and most reliable system possible.
Matthew A. asks, hi, how about weekend service on the Ventura County line?
Hey, Matthew, meet me in April. Is it April 13th? Do we know yet?
I believe so.
Yeah.
We'll confirm.
Check it out. It's coming in April. Ventura County weekend service. Meet me on that first train.
We got a comment from our friends over at Kern Transit.
Hi, Kern.
They say Kern Transit has recently started weekday bus service from Bakersfield and Fraser Park to Santa Clarita,
I read
where
about
we
that.
connect with Metrolink's Antelope Valley trains.
Yes.
You provide excellent service, and we are proud to provide an extension of your service into Kern County.
Hey, Kern. Thank you for the shout out. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Antelope Valley line up to Santa Clarita, and then I'm going to transfer to your service. So we appreciate it. That's the way mobility and true congestion relief happens. Metrolink can't do it by itself. It's working with partners like Kern Transit as well. So thank you for the shout out and happy holidays. I did recently read about that. I think that's fantastic.
Matthew says, thank you so much for bringing back the Holiday Toy Express.
Woo!
Our recent success is the Metrolink Holiday Express trains. Riders are wondering what inspired the return of the Holiday Express train and its change to being inside the train experience.
Are you kidding? Have you heard of me? Create value, exceed expectations. So we are really trying to be innovative and excite and delight not just our riders, but people who may not have thought about Metrolink in the past. And in doing so, one of the challenges I've brought forward to the staff, which the staff I'm happy to say is embracing, is let's do it in an innovative and cost-effective way. So the former way we had the holiday train became very expensive for us. And one of the staff had an experience with their previous employer of actually having the train experience inside the train instead of at the stations, and charging a flat fee, reducing costs, and really creating some value inside the train for parents and their children alike. And guess what? It has paid off. We piloted it with 4 trains. The 4th is this Sunday. I think it's sold out. 99% sold out.
Very few single seats.
We started in Laguna Niguel, Mission Viejo. It was amazing. I showed up an hour before the train that Sunday, and the parking lot was already packed. It is incredible to see families show up in costumes, having fun. We're fortunate through our sponsors, Cliff Bar, See's Candy, provided giveaways, and the most heartwarming part about creating value and exceeding expectations with the Holiday Express trains is the community is giving back to us You know, we asked for a toy drive and sock drive, and they have shown up in volume. So we really appreciate that, especially with this holiday season upon us. So we're really excited about that. And our expectation is that with this success, we'll be able to do more next year, and expect more exciting and innovative ways that we're going to provide more opportunities for you to try Metrolink. What we did with the Holiday Express train for the first time, the tickets are not at the ticket vending machines, they're online, and it allows you to actually select your seat in advance. And that was exciting too.
Thank you for your question. Erica B asks about what the possibility is for adding more trains on the Riverside line, going back to Riverside from LA in the afternoon.
Ooh, Erica, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. We don't own those tracks. They're owned by Union Pacific Railroad. And so as the railroad owner, we have to negotiate with them. And first they have to be willing and interested in allowing us to add more service. So as we work with Burlington Northern Santa Fe in the new year, we also hope to find a way to have conversations with Union Pacific, but they do own that railroad, and so they control the amount of service that we're able to provide.
Thank you for your question. Kevin B is a good friend of Metrolink. He actually participated in our 27 Stories campaign for our
Yay,
27th
Kevin.
anniversary. You might have seen the photo on Facebook or on Twitter. There was a photo of
He was
him as
7?
a young child.
Yes,
And
that
then
was
with his
one of
first
One of
Metrolink
the most
ride.
popular
Yes,
And
yes.
then more recently with his monthly pass. And he now works in public transportation.
Nice, Kevin.
Thank you for asking your question, Kevin. Kevin asks, has Metrolink considered using vinyl seat covers instead of the fabric currently in use?
Ooh, I don't know. Now I'm stumped. Do you know if we've considered it?
Don't believe so.
All right, we'll look into it, Kevin.
Yeah, it might be easier to clean potentially.
Yep.
All right, our next question comes from Andrew M. He asks if San Bernardino line will get the express train back again.
Ooh.
The trains all currently stop at every station.
Were you in our meeting earlier this week, Kevin? Was it Kevin? What's his name?
Andrew.
Andrew. So we are exploring it. We know it's of interest, and we are literally evaluating it as we speak. So stay tuned.
Matthew comments again on the Holiday Express train saying, I grew up watching the train with the outdoor lighting
Yes.
effects come to stations as a child. I'm 31 now and it brings back so many memories.
Yes.
I'm Metrolink's biggest fan and I'm proud to still be riding Metrolink from Moorpark to Los Angeles.
Yay!
All right, Eric B says, will you be increasing service going out to the furthest areas of each line? I used to get stuck in Irvine a lot because Metrolink stopped running after 6 p.m. So late night service question for further regions.
We know late night service is of high interest. I heard it last quarter during the social chat. So what we are doing is we are working on a strategic business plan with our member agency partners to really look at additional service and how we can provide that additional service over the next decade or so. So stay tuned, but that is requires a comprehensive strategy with all of our players in all 5 counties at the table to decide how we can actually expand that service. But we understand the importance of late night. You want to add something?
No, I was going to say that in April, there actually will be one added on the Orange County line.
Oh,
a late night
wonderful,
train.
Sharita. Thank
Yeah,
you.
in April, we don't know the time yet. That's one of
Oh.
those discussions that are still ongoing, but
Okay.
you'll have a new late night train Monday through Friday on the Orange County line.
All right.
Now, Rayon and Robert both want additional Metrolink service to expand. Rayon wants a train to San Francisco, and Robert wants the train to go directly to Disneyland.
Ooh. Well, the first one's harder than the second one.
Yeah.
Going to San Francisco is out of our jurisdiction. That's the high-speed rail. There's talks about that is underway. But in terms of going to Disneyland, we almost get you there. You know, on Metrolink, get off at Anaheim, Arctic,
Shuttle.
and there's a
Art shuttle.
free shuttle. Yeah, Art Shuttle.
Yeah.
They're fantastic, and it's 100% zero emission. You know, they've got that zero emission shuttle in Anaheim Regional Transportation Network.
Yes,
So
Robert. So
we
be sure
can
to
do
check
that.
out
Absolutely.
Anaheim Resort Transportation.
That's right.
All right, then we got Lori. Lori says, thank you so much for the 91 Paris downtown line, especially on the weekend service.
Woohoo! That just started in October.
And Lori asks if consideration could be made for later trains coming out of LA Union Station. If I miss the 5:30 p.m. train, I am stuck.
Ooh, that's a tough one if you miss the 5:30. Again, we are working with our partners to see how we can add more late night service, so stay tuned.
Jignya asks, can there be a car with visual station announcements so people can do conference calls without the noise in the background?
Ooh, now how would we do visual? I guess we would have to have like the screens. I think that's a great idea. Right now, I know with the cars that are being rehabilitated, we won't have that capability, but I like that idea. We'll look into it.
All right, and I got more questions about express trains. Michael asked about Antelope Valley Line having an express train from Lancaster as opposed to Palmdale.
Oh yeah, because they have one from Palmdale right now. I think the challenge is actually between Palmdale and Lancaster. The terrain is really rough. Again, what we're fortunate of is our partner agency, LA Metro. They recently voted to program monies to actually make major track improvements on the Antelope Valley Line that will help speed up that line. So once those improvements are in, I think then we can look at modifying the express service to even begin from Lancaster. But some significant track improvements need to be made so it's safe to have the trains operate at faster speeds.
Kaylee R. asks, will you be connecting in the near future the Antelope Valley Line to Victorville?
Oh, I think there is talk by our member agency, LA Metro, to take a look at that, particularly as it relates to, again, the train from Vegas to Victorville and getting from Victorville to Palmdale. So those talks are in early development, but they're in the purview of LA Metro, our partner agency.
Jeff S. says, Ventura County Line needs to run on Sundays. Will you see him on the train in April?
Yes, it will run on Sundays, at least for 6 months, right? From April to October, we're launching a pilot of weekend service. So we need you all to ride so we can demonstrate that there's interest and demand to support it going year round. But right now, it will start in April for 6 months.
Matthew asks, can Metrolink have onboard snacks or beverages for purchase the way Amtrak does?
Ooh, you read my mind. I'm working on it. I want a beverage car, like we have a quiet car. So I would like to bring that in 2020. So that will be one of my Metrolink resolutions.
What sorts of things would you like to enjoy on the train, Stephanie, in your beverage car?
Oh, I can't. No, this is for kids, right? I can't.
It's for riders of all ages.
Well, I think in the beverage car, the idea is that we would have a cart full of beverages, and it would be bottled beer, bottled wine, and bottled water for purchase. The bottled beer and bottled wine would actually come from businesses that are located within a quarter mile or two from the station, so we can really promote those local businesses, and they would be available while supplies lasted. So I think that would add a nice enhancement to the experience, particularly on the afternoon or the evening trains, and something we should try. I think in terms of enhancements that I like, first of all, I do like the quiet car. It's just that every once in a while I find myself in the quiet car and I didn't know I was in the quiet car. So someone was like, "Did you know you were in the quiet car?" And I was like, "Oh." Exactly. So I love the idea of the quiet car, and I appreciate someone not, totally embarrassing me and just giving me the benefit of the doubt that I didn't know that I was in the quiet car. I love that. I love about that Metrolink experience that people are collegial, and it's just, it feels safe to me and it feels relaxing to me, and that's what I enjoy about the experience.
Well, Matthew asked this question about having onboard snacks and beverages for purchase, and 3 people liked the comment, so I think a lot of people would be on board with it.
Yes.
Mario C says, please put a food cart on Metrolink. What kind of food would you like to snack on a Metrolink train?
Well, Mario, I see it a little bit differently. I think we should have food at the stations. less on board the train. It just helps the train stay a little bit cleaner. But I know from going to some of the stations to greet riders as part of our rider appreciation events that I know riders want coffee. So I think coffee should be offered. We should have an exclusive agreement with some coffee provider for our Metrolink patrons to get discounts. I know you love donuts. I know you're a sucker for donuts and muffins, and I think for the health conscious out there, we could have fruit as well. But I'd love to provide that type of service at the stations to have that amenity waiting there for you.
What determines how the trains are scheduled when they're shifted back or forward a couple minutes?
Well, what we're really trying to do is improve on-time performance. And so since the way we operate the trains is that they cycle through from one line to another line, there can be cascading effects. And we're trying to limit those negative cascading effects and have the lines improve their on-time performance. In doing it, it's really a fine, delicate balance. And the expectation, our intention is to really limit the impact and provide more flexibility. But there are going to be trade-offs whenever we do that, whenever we adjust it. Now, our intention is to minimize the negative impacts. And so we will continue to work on that because we want to provide a great experience for everyone, and we want to optimize the flexibility for everyone. As a result of the shifts that we made in October, the Orange County Line ridership is up. But that doesn't mean that we don't take account for those who have now limited choices or misconnections, and we want to minimize that from happening.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your comment, Joanne. Bob, he weighs in saying, I love your enthusiasm and willingness to try new ideas. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, Bob.
Jeffrey M., this might be a question for Henning's assistant. He asked, how has the ridership been for the San Bernardino line?
Henning, great.
The San Bernardino line has been one of our greatest success stories. You may know that in 2018 we reduced the fares by 25%. And since then, the ridership has been up every single month. So the ridership growth is, it's just amazing, and we're very proud of how well this has been accepted by the community.
Has the late night train been successful as well?
It has grown. It would never carry as many riders as trains earlier during the peak period, but again, it has grown, and it clearly shows there's demand for later service.
All right. Will that potentially open the door to more late night weekend service on other lines, potentially?
What do you think?
We do know there's demand on other lines as well. But we're looking at that, and of course, as Stephanie mentioned, it always depends on our ability to add service, because on lines where we don't own the track, we have to work on agreements with the freight railroads. But yeah, it is definitely on our horizon.
Blaine from the city of Long Beach asks, can you have trains run around the clock so people that work late at night can get home from LA? Sometimes people don't have 9 to 5s.
I wish, especially as we know there's a growing population that has late shift work. We're challenged by two things. Number one, for trains to operate 24/7, that would mean they're operating late at night and blowing the horns, and then we have our neighbors who are so happy with the prospect of hearing horns all night long. Secondly, we need more train cars and locomotives to operate more service. Some of you may have experienced some of the delays, the mechanical breakdowns. That's happening because the fleet is aging, and we need to work on actually getting a newer fleet in place so we have more reliability. So we don't want to stretch the equipment that's out there now by putting out too much service. I have, though, asked the team to take a look at it, how can we better serve that swing shift of workers, because I know the graveyard is not something that we can do right now. So stay tuned as we develop our strategic business plan over the next 9 months or so. We'll be looking at ways to serve that market as well. And as I said earlier, we can't do this by ourselves. We'll be partnering with our transit operators in the region, as well as the Lyfts and Ubers and Vias of the region as well, to see how we can provide options where people don't have to drive alone in their car.
Wonderful, thank you for your question, Blaine. Eric B. says, if this has been asked, forgive me, but will you look into providing charging ports or outlets on more trains?
No, it hasn't been asked, and I don't see why not. In fact, the 50 cars that we are in the process of renovating and rehabilitating, there will be more outlets and ports, right? I know how important that is. There's nothing worse than being in the airport and waiting for your plane, and there are outlets and they don't work, or there are not enough of them because people are hogging them, like the Bretts of the world. But so I know the importance of having more ports. Yeah.
Joanne asks, can we reduce the singing announcements in the quiet car, or at least have the announcements at a lower volume so I can catch up on my sleep?
Well, yeah, they should be at a lower volume, particularly for the quiet car, so we'll work on that. Are we not able to do that?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's one volume per? All right, we'll figure something out. Be patient with us, we're trying new things.
Allie S. says, Chatsworth Station used to have coffee service. Any chance Metrolink could work with LA Metro to get a coffee shop? Also, can we get restrooms at the station?
Well, I definitely think we can work with them about a coffee shop. I'm not sure what happened to the previous provider of coffee. The restrooms at the stations are actually outside of the purview of Metrolink. It's usually the host city that provides the restrooms at the stations, but we can definitely make them aware of the interest from our riders to have restrooms.
Monica says, I'd asked about the Ventura line running on weekends for the last CEO Social Connect and was told it was being planned to begin April 2020. Is that still on track?
Yes, and I don't know why you put me on blast. I have the receipt, April 13th, right? I have receipts that the kids
I
say.
think that's the date, but
It is the date or not?
it's 13th because that's a Monday.
Okay, it's not the 13th because it's a Monday, but April 2020 receipts, you heard it here. It's in our budget, right?
It's happening.
Ye of little faith. I mean, she's calling me out. This is only my second CEO social chat.
Are we excited for Earth Day 2020?
Yes, yes. It will be the same age as I am, 50.
Wow. All right.
I think it's a great way to highlight how Metrolink is good for the planet as we all take pause and talk about how we can be better for the planet on Earth Day. Right?
Yeah, and Stephanie won't brag on herself, but
Never.
she kind of pushed us when she first started to offer free trips last year, and we had one of our highest ridership days since we've operated. So we look forward to topping that next year, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone asked about can the 10-day ticket come back into existence?
Ooh, now this is gonna create a fight between me and Henning because I was in love with that 10-trip ticket. And to my surprise, to come here as a CEO and find out that he had taken it away. So I'm gonna leave it to him because I'm not gonna say anything about it because you know you're supposed to empower your staff and all. Go ahead, Henning.
So, yeah.
Explain the 10-trip.
I also remember the 10-trip ticket. I know it has been very successful. Of
Hater.
course, this has been years back. Now, since we introduced our mobile ticket, it has become easier to buy, multiple one-way tickets. So it's not as much a problem without the 10-trip ticket. But we are currently conducting a fare study. So we are looking at possibly bringing back something like the 10-trip ticket as well as other fare options that we're looking at. So stay tuned.
Wow, you made my day, Henning.
All right, looking for the next question right now. We got a lot more people asking about BC line, Express
Do they
Transit
not
line.
believe me?
I
They don't believe it's
I think
coming.
they might be joining us late. And,
Oh,
it might
okay.
not have been mentioned yet,
Oh,
but
right.
for when they logged on to the video.
Okay.
Blaine asks, have you thought about buying Amtrak retired cars and rehabbing them for Metrolink?
haven't been approached with that proposal. Anything's possible.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Rayon asks, LA Union Station needs a better pickup area for rideshare. The one in Alameda is too small. How do we bring about that change?
Well, it already is here. Have you tried the East Portal? It's a very little known secret. I use the East Portal mostly. So on the eastern end of Union Station, there also is a pickup and drop off, which is much easier, more convenient, and you don't have the queuing and the backup that happens on the Alameda side. So I encourage you to try that portion. That's the Bigness side.
All right, Carla H asks, who is responsible for making sure that everyone is following the rules on the train?
Oh, that's Sharita.
Other duties as assigned.
Well, you know, first and foremost, our expectation is the passengers follow the rules, as adults generally do, or are expected to do. We have the conductor there to help enforce the rules. Of course, the conductor's first focus, though, is on your safety and making sure the train is being operated in a safe manner at all times. But again, we have the code of conduct, and we have the conductor to remind folks, but we really want people to self-police themselves, actually.
Maylin R asks, how often are the trains undergoing maintenance?
Ooh, very often. First, there's a regulatory requirement on how often the rail cars and the locomotives have to come in for maintenance or preventative maintenance. And in fact, I think it's every 60 to 90 days. They're undergoing some type of regular routine maintenance.
Donovan asks, how do I get a job cleaning trains or buses?
Ooh, well, we don't have buses. Metro has buses, but for Metrolink, you go online at metrolink.net under careers and look for job openings.
Danielle says, I know Metrolink has a small team, but can we consider a store like LA Metro's with some pins and stickers?
Oh yeah, that's on my 2020 resolution list. Online store, right? Don't we have some great gear?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about the gear that you found for us.
Which gear? Well, we have
No,
some
the
for Earth
Metrolink
Day.
branded.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so
hello.
recently, I'm sorry. Everything
jacket.
just all blends together. Yeah. So we recently, for our staff and our board, updated our own Metrolink marketing and wardrobe. So we have nice little jackets and polos and button-ups. And then for Earth Day, we had special T-shirts. So whenever we do things like that and get apparel, then we want to make them available for our riders and anyone too who wants to represent Metrolink and help us get the great word out.
But we have swag,
Mm-hmm.
so we can put that online, right?
Yep.
Can we work to do that for 2020?
Sure.
Okay,
Is it
it'll be
time?
on the 2020 resolution list.
Netta asks, what opportunities are there for recent graduates at Metrolink?
Uh-oh, was that for me?
Must be.
Yeah, I think so.
We have a grads on career track program. We're currently, for new graduates, either undergraduate or graduate degree, within 24 months of getting that, you can come work for Metrolink full-time for, right now, up to 6 months. But tomorrow, we're going to the board and we're asking for that to be extended for up to 24 months. So stay tuned for that. But today, you can go online at metrolinktrains.net. Is it .com or .net?
.com.
Metrolink.com.
Did you used to have .net?
Our email.
Or Skara.net.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
well,
where it is.
All right, well, sorry. metrolinktrains.com/careers, and you can find out more about our grads on career track program.
Fantastic, thank you, Netta. Blaine asks, how will the Aero train service and Metrolink work together?
Oh, well, that also is, someone look at our agenda? I know.
Ask these questions, Brett.
Well, right now, the plan is that the Aero service will operate between Redlands and downtown San Bernardino during the day, starting in 2022, and that Metrolink would have, I think, a couple of round trips from Redlands into downtown San Bernardino. But again, we have an item going to our board tomorrow that requests us working with San Bernardino County and Omnitrans to transfer the operation of the aero service to Metrolink. So stay tuned for that.
Mark asks, any new Metrolink lines planned to service areas that are not currently served right now?
Well, the aero service, that is an extension from downtown San Bernardino to Redlands. That's about a 9-mile extension. That's currently in the plans. Riverside County is talking about extending service from downtown Paris to San Jacinto. So that could be a possibility too.
All right, and our next question is from Yolanda. Have you ever thought of putting cameras in each car?
For what? What are you doing? I mean, what do we want the cameras for? Did you say?
Safety and security, I suppose.
Oh, I don't know, have we? I haven't heard that since I've been here, have you?
I know there have been discussions and thoughts about it in the past about having a camera in each car, but then I think the conversations went to, you know, would it be better at the station or so, you know, there have been discussions, but it was never moved forward as an alternative.
Privacy concerns, maybe?
All right, Johnny says it would be cool if you guys did that thing with BNSF again, and I have asked Johnny which thing with BNSF, because I'm interested in that one.
Not the locomotives.
Paul asks,
I would hate
after Redlands is open, will
Yes.
you service Palm Springs?
Ooh, woo, I would love to. Right now, no, though I think the plans are because Amtrak has the rights, they have the rights to operate on those Union Pacific tracks to Palm Springs. Right now, Metrolink doesn't have the right to do that or access rights, when I mean right to do that. But we would love to be in Palm Springs. Wouldn't that be fabulous?
I would like to be there
Coachella
right now.
train.
Oh my goodness, yeah, I would love to be there now. Snowbirds come now this time of year.
Joe has not ridden Metrolink trains before.
What?
But he says, I've always wanted to ride the Metrolink from Moreno Valley to downtown Los Angeles. How can Joe make that happen?
Oh, come on, Joe, DM me or something. We gotta give him a promo.
should we send him a free ride?
Absolutely,
We'll
we
send-
absolutely.
We'll
Come
DM you
on.
a free ride. Joe.
There you go.
All right. Now, Javier asks, will Metrolink ever go electric like Caltrain is doing?
Well, I want to accelerate our zero emission future. And so electrification works for Caltrain. I'm focused on looking for the best technology for us. And so we have started a study to look at the various technologies to find out what's best for us. Our system is a little bit different from Caltrain. While we're both commuter rail, we have over 500 route miles to cover, which is significantly more than Caltrain does. So we're looking at the various technologies, but the intention is clear. I'd like to accelerate a zero emission future for here in Southern California.
Neha asks, sometimes when certain incidents happen on board the train, I'm not quite sure what to do as a rider if I don't hear an announcement or see the conductor immediately. What should passengers do during an incident when the train isn't moving and we don't know why?
I think the most quickest thing to do is, if you have a cell phone available, to text us at 1-800-371-LINK. Because again, during an incident, we have live folks standing by, both at our customer service center, on social media, and that's the quickest way to get information, particularly if the conductor, who again, as I said earlier, is number one priority is your safety. If they've had to deboard the train to investigate what's going on outside the train, they may be out of communication on board the train.
Johnny asks, I collect model and toy trains. I was wondering if you guys will ever work towards having some sort of plastic model of a Metrolink train available for purchase.
Don't we have, what's that one? Come and show. Let me put that in the shop. Do you remember who does this? It's a H-O.
Ahern. So we do have, the existing
this.
vehicles.
Can I
We don't
take that
have the
away?
new Tier 4 as a model.
Oh, why don't we have the Tier 4?
I guess it's still too new.
Oh, okay. Well, we have this. Is it Johnny?
Yes, Johnny.
Okay, we have this, Johnny.
Do you want his address?
Manufacturer, we can put them in our new online store in 2020.
Online store, there you go.
Yeah, keep your eyes open, Johnny.
Yeah.
Joel says, I just want to thank Metrolink for your service. You have saved me so much stress in my life as a commuter from Covina to downtown LA.
Thank you, Joel. Covina, that's my station. Look for me.
Matthew says, can we please have late night service on DC? We've already addressed that. And he asks, can we bring back the weekend $10 pass and not the $10 weekend day pass? So I suppose there was...
Ooh, that's another fighting thing for me. I want it back too. Henning, explain.
Oh, we've heard, and it's on
I
our
would
list.
love for it
We
to be
studied.
back. Whatever. I think there were concerns because some people were taking advantage and accosting customers, right? Asking them for their pass to resell it.
We've
right?
heard some complaints from customers about some problems they had, but we're looking at it with the mobile ticket, which we didn't have back then. I think there are some
see?
opportunities.
Okay. Oh, I like you today, Henning. Thank you.
Today?
2 for 2.
Just today.
Just today.
I love when you guys started your service out of Baldwin Park. He likes the San Bernardino line.
Yay, San Bernardino line. Thank you for writing.
Enrique says, are you guys going to potentially add express service on all of the lines so that some of the other lines can feel the love that the AV line and other lines with express trains do?
Well, that's an opportunity with our SCORE program, which is our homage to the Olympics coming in 2028, where we want to add more service so that we have 30-minute service, so in some places 15-minute service, and with that type of service frequency, we would be able to have express trains on every route.
Becky says, would love for night OC line service on the weekends. I would too, Becky.
Look, folks, we have to have time so that we can actually perform maintenance on the trains. So if we have the trains operating, all the time, that really doesn't give us a window to make sure we continue to operate in a safe manner and have time to not only maintain the trains, but also make sure we're inspecting the tracks.
Casper asks, any updates on the double track project on that SB line?
Which one? I see thinking Lone Hill to White, maybe?
Perhaps.
That's
Yeah,
it.
it's probably thinking on that way.
There has been some progress. Last I heard, LA Metro is the agency who's in charge of delivering that project, but they just got funding to start preliminary engineering? Or
No,
final
they
design?
advanced design from 30 to 60%, or all the way through, ready, or through the end of through the end of the design. So it was 30% to advance the design.
They're working on final design, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's in progress.
And all right, Joanne, her volume wasn't working earlier, but she had a question about that she had already asked. That was about how train times have been shifted a couple minutes, which have limited her options, and she wanted to know what considerations go into changing the schedules of trains.
But did we answer that?
Yes, but her volume wasn't working earlier, so she.
Oh, so she missed my brilliant response?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Only happens once.
Well, first, Joanne is the one who says now she has fewer options.
Yes.
Not missed options, right?
Yeah, she used to have more variety.
That's right, that's right. So what we're trying to do is, again, the way we operate the trains is the trains don't stay on one line. They move from line to line. And so there can be a cascading effect if there are delays on one of the lines. And when we make these, what we consider schedule adjustments, we're really trying to do it in a way that increases the reliability of that particular train. So we try to do it in a way that minimizes the impact on customers and minimizes the impact on transfers. But of course, there are going to be trade-offs whenever we shift as opposed to add something new. So just know that what we're trying to do is stay true to the commitment to provide reliable on-time service. That's what we're trying to improve upon when we make these schedule adjustments.
Now,
Stephanie, can I add something
Yes.
really quickly? And to answer her question about what considerations we make. Actually, this is something that both Stephanie and Henning can take some credit for, but whenever we actually do make schedule adjustments, we've been going through a process to survey and get rider feedback so that we can
Before we do it.
understand the impact, and so that we can strike the balance that Stephanie referred to in her last response, that it impacts the fewer amount of people and serves the most people that we can.
We have time for one more question. Kevin says, I read that Metrolink is developing a passenger loyalty program. Is this true? And if so, are there any details you are able to share at this current
Oh
time?
my God, who is that? Who asked?
His name is Kevin.
Oh my Kevin, I love you. We need to have a loyalty program because I think we need to reward you and thank you for writing the system. And so we are working on it. No details right now to share other than we want it to be something that's seamless, that has value, and will exceed your expectations.
Wonderful. So that will be our last question for the night. Are there any closing comments you'd like to address to our ridership?
I just want to thank all of you for writing Metrolink. I know you have other choices and you're choosing to take Metrolink. I appreciate that. I appreciate the time that you're giving to share your feedback and to be patient with us and me in particular as a new CEO as we try new things in the interest of improving your experience. And I wish all of you a wonderful and safe holiday season.
I'm going to be a little self-serving here. I want to plug the Festival of Lights trains.
Oh, there you go.
So if you're enjoying
There you
the
go.
experience of the Holiday Express trains, it doesn't have to stop. We're offering special service to the festive event of the Festival of Lights in downtown Riverside. You should check us out at metrolinktrains.com/FOL. It's a value like you won't see in this region. It's $7 for a round-trip ticket for adults, and it's free for people under 18 for up to 3 kids.
wow,
So
that's a great
for
deal.
a family of 4, you could get there with 2
Yeah.
kids for less than $15, and then it's free to get in. So keep it going.
That's fantastic.
Just one comment. We love your feedback, so let us know what you think about Metrolink. If it's on Facebook, if it's through email, or a survey which we may see on the train. So let us know what you think and what we can do. We do take your comments seriously.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for
Good
joining us.
night.
We look forward to chatting with you again soon.